Good morning, traders, and welcome to My Funded Futures. My name is Adona, and I am your hostess. This show is created not to only engage and entertain you, but to also make you a better trader. We'll be talking ideas, we'll be talking setups, and whatever it takes to make you successful. I personally am not an expert trader, but I will be one of the voices for the chat, and we welcome all of your questions. We'll dive into ES and Q today. We also will have some educational lessons for the day from Bull Barbie and Forest Knight. And we also have a very, very, very special guest that we're so excited for today, Lumi Trade. So stay tuned and let's get it going. I would actually now like to welcome Luke in. He's going to give us some insight about the US market today and how that's going.
All right. What's up, Adona?
Hi, Luke. Welcome. Hi. Luke is also the co-star as well and one of our great hosts. So tell them.
All right. Well, first things first, I think the greatest commercial of all time was this insurance commercial with a camel walking around an office space saying hump day. It was a camel has humps. I'm curious if anybody else remembers that one. Every Wednesday of my life for the past decade, that's what I think about.
I never knew what that meant. Never knew what that meant until recently.
Yeah, middle of the week. We're getting there. But talking markets, we've got some great things to talk about. We got a gap higher in the indices. We're moving higher. We finished higher yesterday. Are we back? We ready for a steady grind up? I don't know, but Bull Barbie might have an idea. In terms of econ data, we don't have a ton. We got Beige Book coming out. I don't know if anybody really cares. We got a little bit of Fed speak, but not a ton. But on the earnings side of things, we had Tesla out yesterday. Chat, you said Tesla would go higher, and sure enough, you were right. Per usual, always trust the chat. And then we got a couple good ones today. Chipotle is the big one. IBM is okay. Boeing, I think, interesting. There's some news out about Boeing today. But we'll talk about some of the earning stocks as well. I'll throw a first question into the chat. Do you trade earnings? Give me a 1 if you trade into earnings, around earnings. Give me a 2 if you just sit on the sidelines. You don't care about stocks. You don't care about earnings, whatever it is. How's that, Adona?
That's a great poll, actually. Let's see where everyone is. Okay, I see a lot of 2s. Oh my God, there's a lot of 2s. Come on, guys. We need some experts. There's a 7. What does that mean, Luke? What do you think?
A 7? I think that means that they won't trade the entire month.
Yeah, they're not even.
And I want to say happy birthday to Lucas in the chat.
Happy birthday, Lucas.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Awesome.
Wow. Well, that's just great.
All right.
I'm really excited for Tesla today. I think Bull Barbie that she's going to take that on. And so without further ado, actually, let's welcome Bull Barbie in and see how she's doing today.
Good morning, y'all.
How are you?
Good. Yeah, we did have some excitement overnight with Tesla. That's always a fun one to watch every quarter. Everyone's always anticipating the Tesla earnings.
It's a good one.
Makes sense, though. It always moves the market.
Mm-hmm. And it's just fun. There's so much news flow surrounding Tesla forever, for like 10 years. Like every quarter, there's some dramatic thing happening, whether it's the China production or the race to hit some target, building cars outside because they wanted to hit their production or whatever it is. There's always some dramatic story involving Tesla. This quarter, I would say, it got even more dramatic than ever before.
A little bit.
So, yeah.
I think part of what it is we always, like, GME is just that classic meme stock. And so no one really wants to take GME too seriously. But Tesla, I guess we can still pretend like we're taking seriously, even though it's kind of gained that meme stock status. But
okay, Barbie, we have a question from the chat, actually.
Sure.
And they're asking if you trade options too.
I do. I trade both futures and options. I think that there's a different tool for different ideas. So, of course, Tesla doesn't have futures, but it does have options. And even if I'm trading an index where I can trade futures, sometimes options are a better product to capture an idea, especially if it's something longer term. So, if I'm going to swing trade the S&P 500, I don't want to use futures because then I'll have to have a huge amount of money in my account to carry those overnight margin rates. But if I want to capture the idea with a SPY option, then I can use, just probably under $500 to capture the same idea for each position. Yes, and we do our afternoon iron condor. I'm actually going to be doing a class in a few weeks on iron condors and spreads and things too. So I do a lot of options trading. Futures I focus on intraday a lot, just because that's the way that asset is easy to trade. But there's definitely a lot that you can do with futures. For me, it's about having multiple streams of income. So I have my futures day trading income, and then I have my option swing income, and then I have some passive income options projects that I'm working on. So
Wow, that's amazing. That's the future. Multiple stream income for sure. Were you able to take earnings? I'm guessing yes, but
I did not play I did not play Tesla earnings because I didn't think that there was going to be enough of a surprise. Tesla is getting to be one of those where you have to have a massive surprise in order to actually profit on the options, because what happens in the options market, you have all the Greeks that you're worrying about. And without going into like a 30-minute spiel on it, the one that we're really paying attention to during earnings is the implied volatility, because as the volatility on options contracts rise, that's what we're tracking. And the volatility rises coming into earnings. So especially that day before earnings on a meme stock or a highly anticipated earnings release like Tesla, it's going to have a really high implied volatility. And after that news event is gone, that volatility is erased, and that part of that options premium just gets smashed, and that's what they call the IV crush. So that happens a lot on earnings. So unless I'm really, really sure, or not, I'm never going to be sure, but if I have a really good idea that we're going to get some surprise or something like that, that's when I'll carry some options overnight for earnings. I like to do a lot of that earnings build up, since we are building IV. It gives a buffer on those contracts a little bit.
When you're carrying options overnight, is it like, are you picking a direction, or is it like the spread that you're playing?
Both. So
Okay.
on SPY a lot, I'll do a more directional trade where I'm just buying calls or buying puts.
But
And
what
it's a
about
really
an
simple
individual
options
stock
trade.
into earnings?
So into earnings a lot of the time. So if I'm looking for a surprise, that's when I'll buy the options. And I have done that. And I actually, my favorite one was Google. I think it was about 3 years ago. Nobody knew that this was coming, but there just seemed to be something going on. Like, why is Google being so quiet? And there was a very, very, very soft rumor about a split, and then there were some other rumors kind of going like something's going on with Google. That one I thought there was going to be a surprise. That one I did carry overnight, and that's one of those ones that went like 10 or 12x or something crazy like that. But I've also played the reverse, where I thought this is actually on Tesla. I thought Tesla was overhyped coming into earnings because it was all over X. It was all over all of the social media, really. Everybody was talking about it, and they're like, this is going to be the millionaire maker. And I was looking at it, it's like, well, we've had the split. Tesla's trading around $200 or $300. And there hasn't been anything exciting. Nothing's changed. I just don't think we're going to get this 10, 15% move. So in that case, I did an iron condor on it, because I thought price was going to stay in a range. If you think it's going to stay above or below, then you can do some credit spreads and just keep I was collecting the premium. So everyone getting crushed by the IV, I wanted to put that in my pocket too. So I used an iron condor to do that. But you can use vertical spreads to do that if you want to have it protected on one side. And because on the flip side, if it had broken through, then my risk to reward would have really sucked. But
Shoot, I had another great Tesla question. Okay. So Tesla earnings come out, stock pops a little bit. Not enough, I would say, to really do much to the index. Does that seem about right to you, Barbie?
Well, we had a gap up. So
But
I don't know.
okay.
I think there was a lot of optimism. Well, it was on other tech stocks too. But I mean, we did end up, it was a slower move, but we did see some optimism in the market overnight coming out of some of these earnings. But I mean, if you're asking what I'm looking at, when they actually have the release at night, it can move the index and you can get a trade off of that. Sometimes they'll try to do it in that settlement period when futures is closed for an hour. But what I was looking for last night, and we didn't really get it, was for some of these options move to kind of hang us up on ES, the 54.24, and then bring us back down into that gap. But we didn't get that yet. So yeah, I didn't actually end up having a play last night off of the earnings, but sometimes it will work out. Well, we'll get a nice move overnight, and the futures has already had their overnight in the afternoon, so then you can trade futures off of it.
Okay.
I see a lot of people. Sorry, Luke. I see a lot of people in the chat saying good morning, good morning. Good morning, guys, and thank you for being here. Yes, and we are going to be doing some free resets today. We actually have a ton that we're doing, but more of that to come later for sure.
Cool. And I'll say this too. I'm putting a link in the chat, which is a very special link, along with a coupon code that gives you 15% off of our starter plan. This is the plan that we basically never discount. It means it's only $82 to get started. It's a week 2 MyFundedTV special. So if you have not gotten started with us yet, now is your chance. It won't get better than this. Link is in the chat. And Barbie.
Yeah, we did give away some free accounts yesterday, just so you guys know, you know. Maybe we'll do that some other week, but 15% off.
It's special. Barbie, could you hit us with an ES update? How are we looking this morning?
Yeah. So I don't know if are you gonna put my screen up real quick? I can kind of show you what I'm looking at. So I always start with the daily. So I'm looking at the daily, and I've been really watching this 21 EMA, which is this yellow line, and we've been holding below it. We're kind of peaking above it right now. So that level is really on watch. And if I kind of hover, that's coming up around 54.30. So I'm watching to see if that's going to be a level that we hold throughout the day. If I go down into a smaller time frame, I'll turn my levels on here too. I'll get this toolbox off of here so we can look at this. That's probably a little bit too tight. That's too loose. Okay, we'll do it this way. So here's the gap that I'm looking at. I highlighted it in yellow so I can really pay attention to it today. So this is that gap we had overnight in ES. And I have a lot of little purple levels. These are kind of more minor levels. What I'm really focusing on are these pink ones and then this yellow gap. So what I was looking at is I was hoping that we were going to kind of hold underneath this 54.24 overnight. You can see we went right up to it and then kind of just knocked on the door of this gap, but we've kind of used it as a support level. So that's not very bearish at all. That's actually kind of bullish. So what I'm looking for is, are we going to hold that sort of pattern, or are we going to actually come back in for the gap fill? So if we come back in for the gap fill, what's going to give me a lot of confidence is, of course, getting below this 54.24. And then I marked this weekly gap earlier. We've been watching this all week. The 53.95 to 54.15 was our weekly gap, and it has been filled, but we do keep kind of heading back there. So it's if price gets in here, this could end up being really choppy in here. But if we get back through the bottom side of it, I'm going to be looking for at least a partial gap fill. I want to get at least half of this thing. So I'm going to target around 53.50 down here, and then down to 53.30, and then the total gap fill. So that's definitely a play that's on watch. The other thing that I noticed is you can see these blue lines coming down here. These are some macro trend lines. So that's why this area too that I had pulled up on the daily chart, the 54.30, where that daily EMA is, this is just going to be a really important area. I'm going to watch this because if the market does break out in either direction, if we travel up on the daily or down on the daily, I think it could very well come off of this level. So if we get a catalyst, we don't have a ton on today. Beige book, like Luke mentioned, is kind of, it'll give us a little bloop. That's probably about it. So once we get either like a Trump tweet or something else, some big data point that can break us out of here, this would be a really ideal launch pad for ES to move up or just break point for us to kind of tumble back lower. I'll pull it, kind of close this thought on the daily real quick. And let me get my Marks chart off here because it's crazy. But so what basically what that would look at, that breakout, if we're breaking out of this level here, the 30 level would either be to target up here, really like 5,600 and beyond, or breaking down to target back here around this range, around the 5,100. So that's kind of the big picture plan. I always have to have a context that I'm taking my day trades in. So that is the context that I'm looking for on ES today.
Thank you, Barbie. All right. Well, I know some people are asking, so we're going to welcome in Forrest. He is here. Hi, Forrest.
Yo, good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Good morning.
Sorry I'm late, folks.
People
How are you?
missed in the chat for sure. We're good.
I have
We are
I
good.
had to run my business a little bit this morning, and one of my employees came in, so he relieved me of studio duty. But I'm hyped. I'm ready to get after today. We had a nice little, gap up, which honestly I did not expect, which is totally fine. I talk all the time about, being right and wrong. You don't always need to be right. You just need to be right when you have risk on. But yeah, I can take a look at NQ. Let's jump over there. Of course, we got to do the weekly. Live life 1 week at a time. So let's take a look here. We have these two major nodes. We'll let these form here really quickly. I don't know why my VP looks a little weird right now. All right, so we have this major node, this arrow that I just deleted. Above us, there's the one below us with support. I expected us to come down and touch this node. So we did this traversal, this retest of this high volume up bar on the weekly, right? I was expecting us to actually come a little bit lower. We haven't seen that, right? So we have pretty strong green. If we go down to the 4 hour, we have a lot of green or up bars on the 4 hour. So I actually suspect now, just listening to what the market is telling me, for us to continue and just retest this shelf properly. That's very, very likely. If we go down to the daily, we'll see something similar. So we check the daily chart here. You can see that there's a little bit space above us. We cracked this trend line above as well. So we have some escape velocity here. And honestly, if we could test this, and once we get into this node, right, we could come for some of these highs up here traversing this node. I would not be surprised that's like 19,780 and some change if we don't reject like 19,076 on the upside today. But again, just listening to what the market is telling me, we had a gap up and continuation, right? So very bullish price action inside the last, 24 hours or so, really since this bottoming out on Monday. So yeah, I'm still hands off right now. I took a little paper cut last night, to be honest, right? It's another way of saying I lost money, but yeah, just hanging out. We're gonna see if we get to this next key level, and I'll look for another good signal for a trade. That's what I'm thinking.
Awesome. Thank you, Forrest. We're going to take it to the chat now. And of course, we want to know where you stand today. So we're going to put a poll on the chat, and please tell us whether you're feeling more bullish, bearish, or maybe you're feeling a little uncertain today. We would love to know. So go ahead and type it in the comments. And Bull Barbie, I think it's probably time for the educational lesson of the day.
Okay.
If you're ready for that.
Yeah, we can start on that.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
I want to learn something.
Yeah, I want to learn something.
Okay, there's the chart that I meant to. So we had this question yesterday, and we were having too much fun, and we didn't get to it. So I wanted to answer today. I think the question was asked: do I track ES with SPY? And so what I'm really watching, I really watch ES most of the time, but I wanted to talk about the difference between SPY, SPX, and ES here a little bit. So all of these are tracking the S&P 500. And Just to make sure we're clear on what they all are. So the SPY is let's start with SPX. SPX is the index. It's the S&P 500 index. So this is not tradable. There's a lot of derivatives and things that come off of the SPX, but this is the actual index. So what is the index? We're looking at all of the different stocks in the stock market and picking out which one are going to be part of the S&P 500, and they all have different weights. And so this is what we're talking about: is if it's part of the S&P 500 and if it's heavily weighted in the S&P 500. Apple is the most heavily weighted in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, and Broadcom are the 7 most heavily weighted in the NASDAQ. Berkshire gets thrown in there in the S&P, along with some other non-tech stocks that are in some other industries. So that's basically what the S&P 500 is, and we have different ways that we can track it. So SPX is literally the index. So you can trade options and other things, other products off of there. But one of the things that has sprouted off of that is the SPY ETF. So an ETF is actually buying and holding this basket of stocks over here. And so they're buying it and holding it according to the weight of what the index is. So the SPY ETF is actually holding those, so it has a real value. You can buy and hold the SPY ETF, and of course, there's options and everything else on there. It's going to be 1/10 the value of all of those stocks. So we don't always have it where the SPY value is 1/10 of the SPX value, but that's kind of hard to get into, but it's based on what this is actually holding and what those are actually doing in those holdings versus how they're just being tracked. So these two products just trade during the regular trading hours. So New York Stock Exchange, and then kind of some pre-market and post-market extended hours. That's why we see the pre-market there on the SPY, the SPY index. All of these are really, really super liquid, and that's why traders love to use them. What I end up really tracking is the ES. And the reason, even though the SPX is the actual index and ES is the futures, and what that is it's so the ES futures is based on what the value of the index, the SPX index, is going to be when we actually get to the contract expiration date. So these contracts expire every quarter, so that's what we're looking to do. This trades 23.7 or 23.5 rather, 23.5, not 23.7, 23.5. So it has the most information. If we're going to go down into a 15-minute chart, we only have information during trading hours on these two, but we have information from extended hours on the ES futures. So I can get more information. So if I'm going to take a trade on SPX options or SPY, either the ETF or the options, and we just opened up here, I'm going to be watching it on ES. So I'm now totally distracted by all of these opening here. I hope that I hope I got a lot of this out before the market opened, but that's basically what I'm looking for. So if I'm going to be trading SPX or SPY, I'm really watching the futures contract, just because I can get all of that information from the extended hours. You can see I have the extended hours on here. If I turn that off, all of these charts are going to basically look exactly the same. The ES futures, the SPX, and then the SPY. They're all going to look exactly the same when I turn regular trading hours on and turn the extended hours off for the ES futures. But with this, I was able to see what the price action was doing since this gap. Now we're just taking the information after the market's open and how we're reacting to that gap. I already know on ES futures that the price came down, tested the top of that gap, and has moved away. And I don't have any of that information on these charts. So that's why I end up tracking and watching everything on the ES futures, even if I'm trading it on the SPY or the SPX.
Awesome. Thank you, Barbie.
And now we've opened, so I have to watch this chart over here.
Take it on.
Yeah, more green here on the open. pushing a little bit higher on NQ. I'm just watching here. We have this other daily high around 19,133.75. I just marked it up. The 4 key levels I look for every day, right? Just call them out. Previous day high and low, as well as the overnight high and low. So what's interesting in every gap situation, right? The previous day high in this case is way below us, right? And then we have the opening, like the gap opening as well. But there's a few key levels. So I have 19,133.75, which is this, let's call it the next untested high on the way up here. And then you can see that there's a few highs. Right? All of these highs are close together, right? Add some more circles. Is that enough red? You guys tell what I'm talking about? So this high right here, right? But these highs all together with this trend line that's cracked, and you can see that there's this node up here as well. So I'm really curious what happens in, let's just box it out. Let's just call it this zone here. We could even do this set of highs. So inside of this red box, this set of highs, I want to know what happens. Are we going to have a really strong just green continuation and just eclipse all of these? Or is it going to respect these levels and start to like mean revert and come back to this gap? We'll see. But yeah, green open, very, very strong so far. We still have 27 minutes before I'll even think about taking a trade. Looking for that.
I will trade the open here, but I don't have anything on this because we've already kind of ticked the top of that gap and taken off. So now I'm kind of waiting for the next setup too. It's not the easiest open when we've already taken off. We've gapped and gone. So
yeah, it's moving there.
Yeah, even everything in the comments, we're at 65% bullish. So I think we're doing good.
So I just wait till 10 a.m. for a trade, or just today?
Or we could fade the chat. Do we fade the chat? No, just kidding.
Do we fade the chat? That's crazy, but maybe profitable. So to that question, I like the 4 hour is my primary execution time interval right now. Okay, the VIX is extremely high. I try to take like 1 or 2 trades a day as well, right? Even that sometimes can be too much with my system. So when the VIX is this high, you just really don't need that many trades, in my opinion. If you make money,
you know what I've noticed, Boris?
What's up?
The VIX is technically below 30 this morning. It's trying to do this little launch maneuver. That's what I'm interested in, to see if the market's going to hold this little launch that it's trying to do, or if this is a big old fake out and we're going to dip back below these levels. Because I'm kind of watching the same area on ES that I was watching the daily on ES when you were looking at your NASDAQ daily, and it's the same area. It's kind of where that daily 21 EMA is hanging out, and that's definitely kind of the question zone for me. Are we going to move up higher out of that or lower? And that's definitely, I think hopefully today will give us a good feel for that. I've been personally kind of waiting to get out of this consolidation, but you like to trade the edges, right? And we're kind of in the middle. So
yeah, I really like to, and that's just because I want the absolute most expected value on the day. And
the most meat on the bone is.
Yeah, I've tried, like, I've been trading for a long time too. So like I've done maybe not everything, but I've tried a lot of different systems. I'm really lazy now too. And
you've already made all the mistakes too.
I'm lazy, I'm busy, and I like making money. So it's just like, if I could just make most of the money in one trade, I'm good. You know, I don't need, I really don't care about if there's like another good trade, but it doesn't, like, it requires me working too much. I just don't care. You know, like,
I've noticed that the longer people trade, the fewer trades they take, but the more money they make.
Yeah,
just
you know,
an observation.
Money in trading is a factor of leverage, and also, I mean, how long you can hold your winners, obviously.
I want to ask you guys both a question before we kind of move forward to the next segment. What do you guys love about trading? Why do you do it? Just give me a quick little inspirational, maybe.
Well,
why do you love it?
I came out of real estate, which is another kind of it's really mentally demanding, and it's probably also kind of emotionally demanding, and it's kind of an intense job. So I guess I was kind of used to that. But at the same time, I was tired of working with stressed out people. So I like how trading is all just on me. It's my performance that matters. Nobody else's performance matters. Nothing else anybody else does matters. It's all on me. I also love solving a challenge, and I kind of see every single day as a challenge to be solved. And I can do a good job or a bad job. But
I love that.
that's really mentally stimulating, and I really enjoy that part of it.
Thank you, Barbie.
Nice.
What about you, Forrest?
Similar, right? So I like solving problems. I'm a software engineer by trade. Like I build tools for myself and things like that with trading as well. If anyone wants to go, you can go to forcebot.com, force-bot.com. It's just an historical options pricing tool that I built using Next.js.
Cool.
So I like making stuff, I like solving problems. So trading is just like an infinite problem to solve, which is why I'll probably, even if I take one trade a month, I'll probably trade until I die. You know, I like it that much. So
do you guys feel like trading it's more of a guy kind of thing, or do you feel like women can do it too?
Well, it kind of is, but you know what? I just saw someone in the chat saying that their favorite thing. Oh, we're getting something here. Is their favorite thing is the adrenaline rush, and I would have to say that's not my favorite. But I can see how for men that would be a really big thing, wanting to have that adrenaline rush. For me, I actually want it to be really calm. We're not getting calmness right now. I was looking for news. I don't see anything yet. The market is excited about something.
Yeah, this high is up here. It's pushing up towards this high right now.
Well, I think our audience is a little bit ready for resets, and I think they missed Luke. So I'm gonna bring Luke in, and then he's gonna take us to our next Luke. So he's gonna take us to our next segment.
Well, let me say this first. One, I do love the adrenaline rush. I wish that I didn't, just so I could be like, nope, you're wrong, Barbie, but I do. Two, Forrest, you know what drives me crazy about our chat?
What's up? What's wrong with them, Luke? Tell me.
We're doing free resets, free accounts at 700 viewers, and we still have people who haven't shared, haven't liked, haven't commented, and just want us to hang out at 600. They don't want the free accounts.
This is messed up.
I think it's because they want us to like stick to the hard-hitting content. They want us to stick to the charts. They want us to stick to the education rather than like waste the time doing the resets. You know, so yeah. Throw the chair around. I don't get it either. We hang out every day with these folks. And again, they're still not posting their Discords on their Twitters, their Facebooks, their IGs, you know, a million places they could post it. Get their grandma's computer signed in. I mean, come on, people.
Look, Luke, so in every endeavor, there are
we need
players.
700.
They're free riders. You know, we got a lot of free riders out here. We need team players, guys. Team players.
So I did get the news headline that was exciting the market. So while everyone is joining and sharing, it's shared in the Trading Ranch. So let's keep going. So anyway, the news headline that just excited the market was the White House is reportedly mulling cutting China tariffs to de-escalate the trade war. So the Wall Street Journal was just reporting that.
Okay.
They're considering a policy. They haven't made it, but they thought it was.
So that's why we get this move up. Then the market moves right back to where it was.
I see.
Excitement. Wait. Where did that get us? We're almost to 600 now.
Well, Barbie, how about this? Every day, chat, we deliver several segments for you that you can depend on. One of them is the most interesting chart of the day. Every single day, 5 days a week, maybe even on Saturdays, I don't know. Barbie comes ready with the most interesting. Yeah, she didn't like that. Comes ready with the most interesting chart of the day for you all. And so, Barbie, how about we hop to most interesting chart of the day? We give the market a couple minutes to settle down and digest this news, and then we hop back to ES and see how we're looking.
Sure. So we've been watching it all week, but we had Tesla earnings last night, and so this one's just on high watch. And we did get this move up. I talked about earlier, the expected move was over 9%. The average is around 12%. So we didn't even get that. So there was a little bit of a crush on the Tesla earnings. But the other thing that I wanted to look at is zooming out to the daily. I know it looks like we got this big decent move on Tesla, but we're still within this big consolidation on the daily. So really Tesla's got to break out of here. It kind of looks like on this, there, you could put a trend line here. I can do this real quick. Put a trend line here. It seems like it's trying to break out. So this is something that we can keep watching. The other thing that's kind of been on watch, I'll just kind of give you a bonus one here since this one's kind of a continuation. Oh, I didn't have it on, it's supposed to be on my watch list. Make things easier. There it is. So we were talking about oil a little bit earlier too. This is one that I really like to trade, but has been kind of weird and crazy to trade. We had this downtrend and I was just waiting for the bottom, and we did get the bottom. So I was thinking, oh yay, there's the bottom on crude. But then we started retracing and then the bottom broke out. So I'm watching on crude also. This is one that I like to trade when the indexes are just kind of being really boring and not giving me anything real interesting. I like to pop over to crude. So I am kind of watching this one again to see if it gets back over this level. You can see, hopefully you can see my crosshair there. This, where crude is actually a major level. So it's being resistance right now. We'd rather this be support up here around the 65, 66 area. So that's one on watch that hopefully can get back on the list. I don't want to be trading it when it's just losing everything, because crude's supposed to be kind of not stable, but strong. And so that's what I'm looking for on that one. So Tesla and crude both getting watched this morning.
All right, guys. So we just put a poll in the chat, and we kind of want to be able to really help you and really give you information on this whole experience. So we would love to know kind of your expertise level so we can have our segments we can modify them to help you out, because MyFundedFutures is actually created as an ecosystem, a place where you can learn, a place where you can grow, as much as helping our experts make better trades. So let us know, and we'll take it to Forrest for his most important chart of the day.
My most important chart of the day, I look at all my charts equally. No, I'm kidding. So let's take a look at a few different equities here. If I can find my mouse, it's lost in the abyss of all these multiple monitors here. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna jump over to Apple. I have some line here previously at 208.70, which is just some previous support levels, right? We're coming up here, support becomes resistance. Let's go to the daily. We need to zoom out just a little bit more. All right. So we traversed this node on the daily. We bounced out of it. We escaped it. We're coming back up here. We're in a lower value-ish area here. So low value means that there are literally less people positioned here. So we tend to race through low value areas, pretty key component of my trading system, right? So not surprising that we have this here. Also confluence with the moves that we're seeing in the indices, right? NQ, ES, the gap up, Apple's in a low value area. Let's take a look at Microsoft as well. Let's see if the story fits. So let's just zoom out, get some more of our volume profile on here. So Microsoft actually came to the top of the shelf, rejected. So there's this little nugget in here, this little molehill node here in the middle, but you can see that it's also in a lower value-ish area as well, right? So all of these prices in here from like 340 to 405 are lower value than these two major levels here. So what's interesting about these, again, and why I watch these in particular, as well as like NVIDIA, that's the wrong one, NVIDIA and even Tesla, right? These large equities, they drive the movements in the thing that I trade, which is NQ, ES, and then, you know, options on the indices, SPX options, things like that, et cetera, right? So I want to look for major pivots here. Right now, we are diddling in the middle. So there's not really much for me to do, unfortunately. I saw some things in the chat, like, we really want to see trade, guys. Guys, trading is not about...
I'm having the same problem. I've had no trades yet because I want a good setup. If I'm going to risk my money or even my funded accounts, it needs to be a good trade. It needs to be a real trade. And I don't have a real setup yet either. I'm struggling too. I want to get in on this.
Yeah. We have a lot of professional button clickers, and we need We need some.
We do have news. So we just had PMI, and we still have new home sales coming out too. So there's data coming out during the market. I'm fine waiting for all that because I'm going to make some money, but I want it to be easy.
What is PMI? So the next news is actually
the PMI just came out.
14 minutes. Yeah, so we just had flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI. Then at 10, we have new home sales, which does, I know it's not tier 1, but new home sales has moved the market before. New home sales is it's technically a lagging. It's a lagging indicator, but it shows you kind of boots on the ground how people are actually able to afford financing, right? Homes and is super in the weeds, but like everybody buys a home on a 30-year mortgage, right? Your ability to pay a mortgage is also based off of your employment, interest rates. So there's a lot of things that are all intermingled in new home sales, and so it's a good kind of finger in the wind measurement of like how are folks actually doing. So that's one of the few pieces of news I actually pay attention to. Honestly, everything else I just ignore, like CPI, like I never actually read into that. I actually look at the new home sales numbers because it's actually interesting to me. So that's a little sidebar.
What I think might overshadow the new home sales, though, is we do have Trump putting out some things. I just saw another one. It says Trump is reportedly decided not to fire Powell. So
really?
I know there was some chatter like Trump wanted to get rid of Powell. You know, they've been going at it. We've only seen, I think, the little tip of the iceberg, what's going on with those two. But Trump has announced that he has decided not to fire Powell.
Really? I could do a really boring education segment on monetary policy. I'm an academic, guys. Again, I love this stuff. I won't do it right now.
I think we want you to go into NQ. I think we want you to go into NQ next. We want your expertise on that.
The NQ.
So once we get out of news on NQ, so let's play a game called Trump's done with his shenanigans and we're out of data drops. What are we looking for at 10 today on NASDAQ?
So I want to see if we crack this next untested high, right? So we came pretty close to it. This is the level that I marked when, whenever that was, we first got on here. And it's the high on the daily. Okay, so these daily levels, why does this level matter, versus the other one? It's just the next one, right? So look left is something a lot of traders say, right? So if I look to the left, just based where we are here, there was some auction event, right? A session that happened on April 15th. And the highest price on that day was there. Why do the highs matter in general? Well, due to auction market theory, it's what I call like the last man or woman, right? The absolute last transaction to occur on this day was at that high, right? Which means that the last person to get trapped long, possibly it was at that high. So whenever we sweep these edges, that's why these edges are so critical, right? There's something that happens when you approach an edge. People are either trying to get out of a losing position, right? They feel this energetic need to like get out, or people who are on the other side of that, who are in profit, are also expecting a sell side pressure, right? For people who are trapped long, right? And so they're anticipating that there's going to be some pressure here, and so they'll also get out on the sell side, right? So people on the sell side are competing to get out, right, around this high here, right? So you're going to see a ton of market aggression at these highs, and everything that I said, the inverse is true on the other side, right? So that's why these edges are so important. They're the best places, you have to add in confluences and things like that. But, in my system, at least, and how I trade, these are really where I look for executions. If I can get an execution around, previous high or low, I feel much better about it. Obviously, I want to make sure I'm trading in the direction of the trend and add in the VP, which is also critical for me, things like that. But yeah, I'm really looking for this next untested high. I just set an alert there. Pretty common practice, right? If you're in my community, you'll see me. I'll just set alerts every single day at the previous day high and low and the overnight high and low. Overnight doesn't really matter in this context because we gapped up strongly. So not even talking about it, but yeah, really just.
I've been looking for something to change too. I want the change too. We've been up since open. That's kind of the trade I'm looking for, is a change of character here. Do something different.
Barbie, I actually had a question for you. Where do you get your news? Where do you get the news?
So I spring for a high dollar news feed. I'm using News Squawk, but I will tell you, if you don't, I didn't start spending that until I could pay for it with my trading profits. I think that's really important. And you don't need a high dollar news feed. You can use on X. There's a lot of great people that you can follow that clearly have the same news feed that I do because they post the same stuff. So that would be like Bloomberg and Zero Hedge, some of those accounts on there.
Awesome.
You can probably just, if you look for me on X and go look for who I follow, I'm not active on X anymore, but I do follow some news people on there.
A lot of news channels. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
They're reporting basically the same time I see it because they have the same feed. So I can tell.
All right, guys. Well, we're almost at 700. We're not there quite yet, but
I keep watching.
I'm
I keep
we will
thinking
get
Shirley
there.
was here.
I'm like, we are almost there.
We're so
and
close.
We're so close, and our reset is so good. So we're so excited to give you guys the code. Also, we just had Lumi Traders join in our backstage, so she's very close, and we're so excited to bring her on soon. Before we go to that, I want to just get a little quick time with Forrest and ask him about just a common misconception, something that we always miss.
About give me a common misconceptions about trading or living life.
I think a common misconception about trading, something that someone gets started with, doesn't really know until they become an expert. Maybe wrong advice.
I would say, man, I love talking. Cut me off.
I could go.
I think the biggest misconception, I think, in trading, and we're here on live right now, we're having fun, we're talking about the markets, right? Is that trading really is like a personal thing, and it comes down to execution, right? So psychology and execution. I see a lot of people in the chat right now like, hey, I want to trade, I want to trade, I want to trade, right? If I told you right now, if I told everybody in the chat, you're going to make $1 million this year, right? For sure, right? For sure. And if you did nothing until the last day of the year, right, and you took a trade on the last day of the year, you make your $1 million in that one trade. You'd all be patient. You just wait for the end of the year, right? You'd feel no need to trade right now because Forrest with his magical powers somehow guaranteed that, right? Now, that's not reality. We know that's not how things work. But trading is somewhere in the middle where if you just play, trading is like poker, but there are no blinds, right? You can choose when to get active. Most people play every hand, right? Most people they'll get a 3-5 and they'll play it. They'll get a 7-9 and they'll play it. And it's like, why don't you just wait till you have pocket aces? If you just waited till you have pocket aces, yeah, you got to wait, but your chances of winning would be much higher, right? So there's this misconception that there's always something to do. That's the number one driver. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? It's like, I don't know, maybe you just look, relax, go outside, touch grass, read a book, journal. There's so much of trading that isn't actually, risking money. And I think that's the hardest thing for newbies is that they always want to be making or losing money, right? Or doing something like that. And you can improve, right? I always say you can't improve what you don't measure, right? So work on measuring, improve your measurements, right? That's something that you can do.
There is a contrast between wanting to capture every trade and wanting to have the freedom that you came to trading for. I think that's a struggle. You have to find that balance. That's part of learning to trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. It's like trade from a grounded place. Take your time. Don't jump in. I mean, when you feel it, you feel it. But if you don't, then take your time and slowly, patiently make those moves, smart moves.
I got into that same trap when I first started day trading. I was like, well, I want to do this because you can do this in a couple hours a day and then be done. But then I got in the same trap of just watching the charts all day. And it's like, well, if I can get that high, why can't I get the next one? It just, that's when you kind of slip into that gambling instead of trading mentality a little bit too.
Yeah. Slippery slope.
Yeah.
Gone.
We're there. Do we get 700?
All right, guys. Yes.
Luke!
So I think we are ready. It is literally reset time. So we're going to bring Luke in and he's going to give you guys the code. So get ready, be prepared, get ready.
Gotta be fast.
Okay,
all right. The reset man is here, but I see that we're stuck at 699.8 viewers on my YouTube. I don't know if anybody else is seeing
You need
that.
to refresh. Mine
I
is
need to
over.
refresh. We're not at 699.8.
No.
0.8. What
Mine's
happened
over.
to somebody? Are they okay?
0.8.
I don't know.
Yo,
But I'm
if you're the
seeing
0.8, shoot me a
All
DM.
right.
I'll help you out.
All right, guys. Here are the rules of the road. 1, you must be a subscriber to the YouTube channel to be eligible to win. So I will give you 5 seconds right now to hit subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on X, you're watching on Instagram, go to the MyFundedFutures YouTube, subscribe. If you're already on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, you just like to torture us. So go ahead and subscribe. That is a rule of the road. We are going to give away, by popular demand, 100 resets. 100 of you out there are going to win. We're free resets. We're doing 50 all week, which is like a $5,000 value, $15,000 a show. Okay, we're spending some money here. We are going to do 100 resets. So get ready, get queued up. Code is going on the screen now. It's up there. MFFU Live 23 is on the screen.
Go.
Live 23, 100 resets.
There's only 100.
It's on there.
Gotta go fast. Some of you have been saying you haven't been fast enough. You got to get good, guys. You got to type.
I always think of that chat GIF. That's what I picture. You got to be fast.
I know exactly which GIF you're talking about.
I hope I did a good impression.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Forrest,
what's up?
You're talking about common misconceptions about trading. Tell me what you think of this one about life. If you don't make someone smile every day, nothing else matters.
Wow. Here's a real one, though. I think we often talk about legacy, but maybe help.
Wait, mine was a real one. Come on, I try to make someone smile every day.
You should make someone smile every day, but help somebody right now, and there's your legacy. I think that's important.
I like that.
There you go.
We're gonna add another hour onto our stream each day, where it's gonna be Luke, Forrest, and Barbie's lessons about life.
I mean, I would enjoy that. I don't know if the community would, but
the rant hour.
Lessons after episode 2, though. I don't have that many.
Where we go off on random tangents.
Yes. All right.
That's what my streams have always been anyway. Like, what tangent are we going to go off on today? It could be bees. It could be shooting rats. Like, we don't know.
Can I ask Barbie a question? I know this isn't in our. This is Barbie. What was like the most critical? Most traders have like that pivotal moment, right, where it's like things start to click. Like, what was that story for you, or that time for you? You know,
I think I've had a lot of light bulbs go off over. I mean, they call it a trading journey for a reason. So I've had several light bulb moments. One of the big ones that came early on for me is that I couldn't depend on anyone else's trades. I started out in a signaling group, which if you've been in a signaling group, it's a little interesting. There's a lot of hype, maybe not a lot of great signals, but going through the motions, you can still kind of learn some things. But that was the mentality I started with, is I need to follow these experts. And what I figured out at a point was like, there's only so much technical analysis that you need to learn. Once you learn that technical analysis, you're on the same level with those other people. You just have to trust yourself a little bit. So it was learning to trust myself over signals, because when you can, when it's your own trade, it's a lot easier to know when to stop out and when to take profits and things. And I think that lesson was not just learning that I didn't have to depend on somebody for trades, but it was that I could actually do this, and that I'm as good as the knuckleheads in the signal trading group at coming up with a chart and finding a pattern and an entry and things. So that I don't need any of them. That the one that I need to depend on most is me. So making your trading journey your own is like the most important, I think, light bulb moment to start with, and then you can kind of add the other lessons onto it.
I like that. I think a lot of traders, once you get profitable, that's kind of, you get there. Like, I still hang out. You know, I have a what I call like a trading pod, like a few traders that, you know, I know they're good traders and we hang out with.
I think it's
and
great to exchange ideas. It's that dependencies, like you have to get off of that dependency.
Yeah, it's like, can you trade? And I had a similar thing like years ago. You know, it's like you're in a group and you feel like you're fine when you're in the group, but then it's like once the leaders are gone, it's like, wait, what do I do? So you have to, you truly have to venture out on your own in order to, you know.
Well, I had leaders that weren't doing a great job of leading, so that kind of helped a little bit because it kind of gave me that push. And I kind of branched off with a few other traders where we could kind of figure things out as a small group and then move on. That's where I kind of built my foundation and my confidence that I could actually do this. I think that's with any industry, though. You have to realize that whoever is at the top of the game and whoever's being successful at it just started out at nothing too. We're all just people. We all start out from somewhere. And it's when you actually put all of that effort in the right direction and in the right ways that you can get over that hump and get into the successful.
I could not agree more. I mean, I'm the COO of the best podcast studio in Miami, possibly the country. We're leading the market, and yeah, you know, every day my job is to figure out what questions to ask. It's not to come up with the answers, but you got to figure it out every day at a time, one day at a time. So,
all right, folks, we have a chat favorite hanging out, almost ready. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but if you can read, you have figured it out already in our comments there. But before that, we need to set some levels. All right. We have another 100 free resets queued up. Question for the chat. What's the viewer count level for the next round of 100 resets? Go now. I'm going to ask a follow-up question, which is we have 100 free accounts as well. What should the level be for the 100 free accounts? Question 1, I'm seeing a lot of thousands, 1,000s. Question
like we got
2,
to aim higher.
I'm seeing a lot of 2,000s.
Yeah, for free accounts, that's huge.
Free account, 100. So 200 more of you are going to win an account. All right, our levels are set, folks. 1,000 for the resets, 2,000 for the free accounts. You've got 30 minutes. Rally your people, and let's get them going. With that, I'd like to bring back our very good friend, Idona, to welcome our very next guest.
Thank you, Luke. Awesome. Well, okay, this is the moment we've all been waiting for because we're so. And let's welcome her in, guys. Lumi.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Lumi.
Oh, she's got the pink and blue background. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I want to have another pink one, but I was like, that's going to look strange if you're going to have some.
I went with purple today. Sometimes I do pink and blue, but I mixed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
Guys, I see my people from my YouTube right here. Hello, everyone. Okay, guys, how are you? My name is Dasha. I guess many knows me as Lumi Traders. I do trade ICT. Yes, I do trade ICT. And I started trading ICT in 2022. So basically started from mentorship to 2022 mentorship. So from that year, still trading ICT, no issue, still works for me, no problems. So guys, what else can I say about this?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your trading style.
So normally I trade just ICT. I don't want to overcomplicate something, just ICT, trade liquidity sweeps, trying to find something like, like my concept. I trade high different PDRA and trying to find lower time frame market structure. So basically in lower time frame, I'm trying to find market maker model. That's it. Simple as that. Trying to keep everything simple, not going to overcomplicate something with lots of different PDRAs to enter. So simple as that.
How long have you been trading?
So I started in 2021. I started with small caps, stocks. I guess many people started from small caps. Not going to lie, it wasn't for me. It was hard. Then my husband introduced me to futures, and he introduced me right to ICT. So I started trading futures with ICT concept in 2022.
Awesome. Awesome. And what would you say is your most challenging thing so far with trading?
Challenging part?
Yes.
I guess still challenging part is accept losses. It's still hard. I guess maybe that's like I'm like this, but I hate to be wrong.
Yeah.
I hate to be wrong in my life. I hate to be wrong in my trades.
We all have a
It's the
stubborn
game.
side for sure.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that? Like, what is your approach to those losses when it happens? What would you
Just
say?
just proper risk management. So I just trying to take small losses and bigger winners. That's it. So I usually consider my contract size. So I never trade same contract size. I just consider my contract size based on stop loss. So if I'm ready to lose $300, this means I'm going to adjust my contract to $300. So I will not lose more.
Yeah.
At this point.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind sharing your screen with us and kind of take us through your journey.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Thank you. Of course. And then I do have one more question too, actually. Sorry, I missed it. But what made you begin trading? If you can answer that,
that's interesting question. And I guess the answer will be, I saw even a woman who trades, and I was like, why she can do this, but I can do this? I need to prove that I can do this as well. So I guess that was main push for me.
We actually just had this talk today about the difference between men and women with trading. So yeah, women empowerment too.
Yeah.
I'm outnumbered on this live.
I know. I was looking forward to this. I was thinking about that. I was like, we're going to dominate Forest.
No,
it's usually the other way around. I'm used to being the only girl. Now he doesn't mind.
You're not alone anymore, Bull Barbie. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to bring Luke in, so he's going to kind of help as well. So let's welcome Luke.
Oh, guys, can you see my chart right now?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
we got you.
Yeah, just to make sure. Okay, give me 1 second. So today market was crazy. I'm not going to lie, I already done with some trades today. I already took a couple of trades on gold and NQ today. But overall structure is bullish. I was bullish yesterday. I even took a long trade on my personal account before market close because I anticipated move higher. And I'm going to actually explain why. So normally, where's my weekly candle? Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you. So normally when I'm trying to build my bias, give me 1 second, I'm trying to load the indicator. Okay, normally when I'm trying to build my bias, I consider weekly candle first. So first I want to think about where is going to be manipulation, where is going to be my distribution. So what I want to see, if market really wants to move higher, so it will offer manipulation up. But initially this candle is going to look like bullish run. This means we're going to get open, which is going to be consolidation. Then anticipate to get small wick up, which is going to look like bullish candle. But then I anticipate to see like sharp move down, which will be real manipulation to distribute higher. And this is exactly what we got this week. So if I want to look at price action, where is Sunday? Right. Give me 1 second. Where is the Sunday? Oh, right here. Okay, actually market opened 6 p.m. So what we got? We got open. We got small wick up right here, as we can see, guys. So we got weekly open right here at this level right here. Come on. What's more on the trading queue today? So we got open right here. And as you can see, price over it. I usually call, maybe that's strange to call this, but I usually call this like wick manipulation. So it offered small wick, exactly what I normally anticipate to get with sharp move down. So which offered manipulation that I anticipated to get. So, and on my stream on Monday on YouTube, I said I'm going to look for a reversal inside this box. So what this box means. So on both ES and NQ. So I anticipated to get reaction from this box because we got huge liquidity void, or we can call this like huge range for value gap. And as you can see with this move down, so I can say like price balanced this part of fair value gap, right? Then price offered reaction back to premium. That's amazing. But what happened right here? It left this part like unbalanced part, right? So still open gap. And I anticipated if manipulation should happen, we will retrace to this unbalanced part and it will can give us reaction. And the question is if I should just press buy button with closed eyes because we entered this box, or at this point, I don't want to be first buyer. So because it still has room to go slightly lower, as you can see, it's still left unbalanced part right here. I don't want to be first buyer, but what I want to do is just wait for, because the smart money reversal. I'm waiting for confirmation for reversal. And at this point, I was waiting for inversion fair value gap. Also mentioned this on my YouTube on stream. So I'm going to look for long once we can invert this fair value gap. And yes, we inverted this fair value gap. And my first target, obviously, is going to be conservative target. And anticipate to see price is going to retrace back to weekly open. This is what we got right here. But if I want to look for distribution, obviously, I would like to see distribution above accumulation high. And accumulation high was basically right here, right? So at this point, I anticipate to see prices going to break above accumulation high, new week opening gap at this point, right? And what I want to see, I would like to find high time frame level. And yesterday I went long right before market close to equilibrium of previous week range. So that was my key level. And obviously it's not going to be end of market maker buy model, but what I was thinking about, like if price wants to retrace, it will retrace back to premium. And premium, if I want to measure from this high to this low, where is my PD ray? I should have it, yeah. So premium was right here. And very first PD ray in premium was equilibrium of previous week range. How to measure equilibrium of previous week range? Just measure weekly candle from high to low, from low to high, 50% is your equilibrium. So my long was, I guess I got 300 points on this long, but it was absolutely amazing trade. Because we got like classic move from discount to premium. So could I anticipate higher? Not really. So I did not anticipate to see like huge move up today. And that's why when I woke up, I was like, okay, what is going to happen today? I saw huge new day opening gap. And yeah, my inner voice was trying to tell me like, we need to retrace there. We need to retrace there. But main issue with this retracement was this SMT for me. So right here and right here. So we got SMT and I was like, okay, it offered order block right here. So an inversion. So normally when I consider potential smart money reversal, I'm looking for a couple of signs for smart money reversal. And once again, that's very important to have this on high time frame. It was order block with inversion fair value gap, as well as I can use order block with market structure shift. Sometimes it's going to be the same level. So at this point, I was using inversion with change in the state of delivery. So I measured this range right here. So from this last swing high to last swing low right here. So basically this range on both ES and Q. And what I anticipated to get. First, yeah, guys, maybe you hate standard deviation. I'm not going to argue with you, but I do use them. It works for me. So I anticipate to get prices going to move all the way up to the range between 2 and 2.5. I even have a lesson on my YouTube about this. On both ES and NQ, and I anticipate to get a retracement from this range back to 1 and 1.5. So basically, it's going to look like this. And usually, if price wants to respect the range between 1 and 1.5, I want to see straight move up or down to force standard deviation. Exactly what we got right here. So I would like to show you what kind of trade I took because it was not long, it was short. So I shorted. It was, in my opinion, it was high probability short. So I saw that price still trying to respect the range between 2 and 2.5 right here and right here. But what happened? We already retraced to 1 and 1.5. I don't need lower anymore. But what we had right there is 5-minute untapped fair value gap. So untapped fair value gap is fair value gap that never was touched. This means right here. So I was, okay, I will try to short because we need to balance this part right here to push us higher. And I use like simple logic right here. My logic was if it wants to invert these two fair value gaps right here and right here, I will try to short. I guess I cannot show executions right now, but I can post this on Twitter later. So I shorted from here all the way down to actually right here. So I was using this equal lows, but I anticipate to get reaction from this 5-minute untapped fair value gap. And if we want to like put 50% right here, price like literally respected 50%, which was amazing. When I saw this straight move up, it was crazy. Obviously, for me, it was hard to trade. But what I see, price, yeah, it was like straight move up with creating order block, with retracement back to this order block. And here, what we got, straight move up to forced standard deviation. So right now, yes, we reached first key level on NQ, but we did not reach my level on ES. Also, if I want to switch on SPX chart, because I use SPX to consider the trade on NQ and ES. So normally I use RTH gaps and what I see so far. So yeah, we took buy side liquidity right here. Amazing, beautiful. So I would say we still have room to go higher, and I will look for the range between 25% and like bottom of this RTH gap. And if we get this level today, so I will start looking for potential retracement. I'm not sure to talk about reversal because zero signs of reversal. Nothing tells me like, oh my God, it's about to reverse. No, but what I see so far, the room right here. So if it wants to like retrace right now, offer minor retracement. I mean, I'm okay with this, but I would like to see overall price retracing a bit higher to the range between bottom of RTH gap and 25%, like lower quadrant, right? And look for potential retracement. So where we can retrace at this point, we can retest, for example, this old support level, and it's going to be probably 25% of RTH gap as well. So that's my idea for now.
Wait, Lumi,
so far,
hold on. Can I pause you for a second?
Yeah, of course.
One, could you leave that chart up? Because I've got a couple questions about that chart.
Yeah,
Two, the chat is asking for some free
demanding.
giveaways.
They're not asking.
They're also saying, Luke, stop talking. Let Lumi talk. But some folks out there want the free resets. And in honor of having you on our stream, we have potentially 2 rounds of free resets. Okay. Free resets first. Free accounts if we get to 1,500. Okay. Again, you must be a subscriber on this YouTube channel to be eligible to win. So take 3 seconds now to do that. 1, 2, 3. 100 of you are going to win free resets. Code is going on the screen now. It is MFTV Lumi. Code is on the screen now in honor of Lumi. 100 of you out there are getting free resets. Put it in. And free accounts if we get to 1,500. Rally us to 1,500, y'all. All right. Lumi, I will stop interrupting because everybody wants me to not talk and you to talk, which makes sense and I think is fair. Will you go back to that chart that you had up previously?
Okay, I can continue, right?
Yes.
So right now, what I'm watching, so basically I'm watching for the retracement right now because we already got straight move up right here. But what I see so far, pretty much accumulation. The question is if it's just consolidation, the accumulating position to move us higher because we still have equal highs higher. And at this point, I would say it makes sense to pump us to equal highs. Maybe not right now, but maybe today. Someone says code doesn't work. So should I stop for this?
No, they don't listen to me. I say 100 of you are going to win, not 2,000 of you. And if they're not winners, they just berate me in the chat saying that it doesn't work.
You gotta be
this happens to me every day, so I'm used to it at this point. But maybe Lumi, if you think we should, we could give away another 100 free accounts. We'll see.
Yeah, let's do
it. You think we should do that or no?
Yeah, of course. Lots of people want this. Why not?
Let's go.
Oh, shoot. I thought you were going to say no free accounts. Make them work for it.
Come on.
All right.
I support people.
All right. So there might be some more coming. All right, Lumi, keep going.
Okay. So from what I see so far, it's pretty much accumulation. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to trust 1 minute chart at this point to look for any trades right now. But what I want to look for, if it really wants to offer deep retracement right now, I don't really see this yet. I would look for obvious order block formation. So Since it's pretty much huge weak small bodies right here, hard to find proper order block, I would say. But I will wait for the closure below swing low, obvious swing low, and at this point, if it wants to drop, I will look for continuation lower if we may close on 5-minute chart below the swing low. And at this point, we should retrace, because why I would like to see retracement at this point? As you can see, we got lots of failure swings right here. So we call this like trend line, right? So it's trying to build trend line right here. So, and at this point, if you may close below the swing low on 5-minute chart, we may actually drop all the way down to New York midnight open. I just right now not ready to short, but if I would want to look for short, what I want to do is just wait for closure right here. Nothing tells me right now like Dasha try to short. No, it's not for me yet. Not interested in this yet. But once again, structure on high time frame, if you just want to look on 1-hour chart, it's still just straight move up right here. I cannot say I would like to look for reversal. No. Retracement, yes, possible, since we got like once again straight move up. Maybe it will try to retrace. But retracement also can be confirmed by liquidity sweep, since I cannot just trust right now 4-hour chart, because what time is it? 10 a.m., right? So if I want to confirm potential sweep on 4-hour chart, I need to wait for the next candle. Nothing right now yet. But I can wait for 1 hour, for example, sweep right here. We can sweep right here. And at this point, yes, it's going to be a good sign for me for deeper retracement, like this. Or, once again, I can wait for the closure below obvious swing low, which is going to be right here and right here, and look for potential retracement lower back to New York midnight open. So I'm ready to read these projections. I don't need them anymore. They already play out. My concern right here, like, I don't know, guys, if you notice, but ES loves to retrace from key levels, like couple of points away, especially like 1 tick away. It's like favorite. Right here, it still left this first standard deviation, but it took this buy side liquidity, forgot to give it a name. So overall, still bullish. I still would like to see higher. The question is if retracement should happen first. So confirmation of continuation higher is liquidity level, which is equal highs on high time frame on NQ. 50% is, if I'm mistaken, daily. So I measured entire range right here from this high to this low. So basically right now we're still in discount. So 50% remains higher. And for this retracement, what makes sense to me is to go higher. I know like 60 points away still, but why not? So got to move back to premium. So break above 50% on daily chart and wait for the action back to discount. So that's my plan right now for maybe upcoming week. So I will wait. I'm just not sure if it's going to reach 50% today, but my plan right now is to be bullish until we reach 50% of weekly or daily dealing range. So basically equilibrium. That's what makes sense to me if I want to look for potential drop on high time frame or deep retracement back to discount. Because as you can see, we have big new day opening. The question is if they want to leave this for today, which is also possible. And if it wants to leave this level, it's even better for me, for us. We can do something like this in the future. Not today, obviously, but
Lumi,
but maybe next week.
Lumi,
That's my plan.
Can you ask everyone to like the stream, please?
What?
Can you ask everyone to like our stream on YouTube?
Oh yeah, of course, guys. Like our stream on YouTube.
No brainer. Okay. And then Barbie Forrest, I'll cut to you and ask if you have any final questions for Lumi. We're coming towards the end of our time now.
Oh yeah.
But any questions either of you have?
So the one question I always have, I trade the volume profile. Nice to meet you, by the way. Love you,
Nice to meet you.
What do you play with volume in your trading?
You know that I don't trade volume profile a lot, but I recently discovered interesting idea with volume, just with volume, how I can actually support my idea to enter the trade using volume, not volume profile. So I'm not like familiar with volume profile, but what I found, where is my volume? Give me 1 second. Let me add indicator. So basically what I found interesting, if I want to look for Give me 1 second. I'm going to just explain the trade what I took because I guess it just makes sense right now. So what I found, it's interesting strategy. I don't want to share strategies right now, but I just would like to share my experience from what I found. So I would like to just actually found this yesterday. And decided to check if it's going to work today because I never ever tried to use volume, but yeah, so many people uses this, and I discovered this yesterday. I guess I need to share it. Just maybe it will work for you. So I found how combine ICT and how can I combine ICT and volume. So basically, if I want to look for scalp or looking for entry and lower time frame, I would like to look for like volume and set up using ICT. So what I saw this morning, so basically, as you can see, we got spike right here. I guess everyone can see this, right? This spike right here, right? So, and at this point, as you can see, my entry also was right here. So normally, if I want to see continuation lower, I would like to see price. So I would like to see next candle right here. So once we got spike right here, I would like to next candle right here, is going to close below the low of this candle, which offered the spike. So once again, we got spike and sell volume right here. And if I want to anticipate continuation lower, why I was so confident with holding my trade, I would like to see next candle right here is going to close below previous candle low, which offered once again spike. And once we got this move right here, I can easily add to my position. So for example, I entered using my ICT concept right here, a strategy. And what I could do right here, I could just add right here to my position, aiming for this exactly same target. So once again, it's interesting observation. What I noticed when we see spike in volume and closure above candle. So for example, right here. So for example, let's imagine I added right here, but what happens right here? We got spike in volume right here, right? So I would like to see price is closing right here. So this means closing above this candle high. And if I see it's trying to support idea with confirmation on something with ICT concept, order block, whatever, I don't really care. Like what kind of setup is this is going to be? Still no closure. So, but once you can get the closure with this huge spike in volume, I will look for potential long, but I will look for potential long using ICT concept. For example, it can be still no closure. Here we are, we got the closure. So right here. So for example, what can happen at this point? If right now price wants to retrace right here, I can actually try to long like this and aiming, for example, for 2R, like default risk reward, right? So what wants to confirm this? We got spike in volume right here, right? Price expecting 50% of 5-minute fair value gap. Once we can get the closure, and closure very important. I absolutely don't want to care about sweep. Closure above the highs that offered of candles that offer a spike in volume, I will look for setup above to enter the trade. So for example, I don't know if price retraces to this fair value gap, but if it wants to retrace to this fair value gap, I will look for potential. Let's see if it retraces. Never retrace. Oh, retrace actually. See guys how we retrace to this fair value gap? We got spike and price simply respected this fair value gap all the way up. For example, this is how I can use volume. I discovered this only yesterday. I done some back testing, like yesterday, not couple of trades, like 50 trades. But what I like about this, how perfect is to use volume to simply confirm your idea using ICT strategy. So this is how I use volume. I started using volume.
Awesome. And Lumi, unfortunately, our time is coming to an end.
Oh, it's okay.
But I'd like to ask you to stick around for an exciting moment that we're about to have. We told the chat if we got to 2,000 concurrent viewers, we would give away some free accounts in honor of Lumi being here with us. We did it. We smashed it. We're down to about 1,700 now, but I saw it. We hit the 2,000 mark. Again, if you want...
I was going to screenshot in case you weren't watching.
See, Barbie is there for the people.
I'm keeping you honest.
Yeah, I thought I saw it get to 1,999 and then reverse. It's a really big psychological level at 2,000. We got rejected at the 2,000 level and sold off from there. But all right, guys and gals, and anything else, you need to be subscribed to this YouTube channel in order to be eligible to win a free account. Couple second countdown now. Lumi, will you help us with the giveaway and say the code is going on the screen now?
Yeah, of course. Where's the code? I cannot see this.
All right, let's roll it. Boom.
Okay, guys, good luck.
Code is up. This is for 100 of you to win through two-step eval to live plan. 100 of you out there. That brings it to a total of 300 unique people winning free accounts, free resets today. This is for our two-step eval to live plan, E2L free. Code is on the screen. And Lumi, I would like to thank you for joining us today. That was amazing.
Thank you for inviting me, guys.
Woo! Can we get a W Lumi in the chat? We're looking for a W Lumi. Yep, Forrest has got it. Barb's got it. I've got it. W Lumi in the chat. And we look forward to having you on soon. All right, Idona, I would like to welcome you back onto the stream with us to close us off for the day.
Thank you, Luke. All right, Bull Barbie and Forrest, any final thoughts before we close it down for today?
No. So my alert hit for that next untested high, right? We did a little bit of a pullback to the session POC, but we're building value higher. So it looks like we are going to crack this and continue. So I've just been watching this kind of to see how the intra-session VP is forming. And we might just end up sweeping these highs. We're up to 19,400, and I'll look for a short around that price. Or just any trade around that price. You could have been, probably the best trade would be to just be long this entire time. I wasn't. So it is what it is. Barbie.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Barbie.
the ideal spot for me to get long was last night, and that's why I've been struggling getting long in this morning. So I have just taken a couple little scalps since what I really wanted to set up was this move back lower, and we didn't get it. And I saw a lot of chat, and I saw a lot of people in my Discord like, where's our trade? Where's our trade? And if you have a system and you have trades that you're watching for and they don't set up, it's okay if they don't set up and you don't get the trade in. So I wanted to mention that today too.
Thank you, Bull Barbie. And thank you guys for being here. And all right, we've come to the end of today's market journey. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, or just building your playbook, remember, knowledge is your most valuable asset. My name is Idona, and this is My Funded Futures. Until next time, trade smart and live well. Bye.
Thank you.